Welcome to Unwinding with Support Group, a mental health podcast by licensed professionals where we discuss mental health topics from a real-world perspective, all while having a drink. So hang out, have some laughs, enjoy the ride, and maybe learn a bit. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Unwinding with a Support Group. Per usual, I'm Arlene. I'm an LPC. I am drinking my favorites, the California Moscato. With me today, I have Kelly, who also is an LPC. Kelly, what do you have today?
I have some 7-Up Cherry Zero with some Empress Indigo Gin and a Boss Water.
Nice. We also have Bree, who works in the mental health field. Bree, what you have today?
I have a Mountain Dew Baja Blast.
Nice.
Baja Blasts are quite yummy.
Feeling Taco Bell-like today, you know?
I was just about to ask.
You know, you can buy those at the store too, so.
You can buy them at the store because that's where I bought mine.
Really?
Yeah, you can get them in a 6-pack. That's what I got mine. See?
Oh.
Yeah.
Did they
It's
taste
not
like
quite as good as Taco Bell, but, never is.
Did they taste like Baja?
Yes.
Does it taste like the Baja? Oh, and we're already off. Well, on that note, we're going to discuss, as we continue discussing different disorders, the bipolar disorder. For those of you who don't know, bipolar has a 1 and a 2. How exciting!
Ooh.
Now, we will discuss a little bit, because they're essentially the same with one minor difference. Bipolar 1, we're going to go over what mania is. And before I say it, who knows what mania is?
I do.
Yay. How do we know what mania is, Kelly?
Okay, mania is basically going to probably present with delusions, psychosis. It's going to be more extreme than the hypomania and last possibly a little bit longer than hypomania.
Yep, it's a distinct period of abnormally elevated or irritable mood and increased activity energy lasting at least 1 week, present most of the day, nearly every day.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it requires hospitalization. This is one of those things, like, if you've experienced mania, buddy, you feel great, top of the world, everything is great. It's euphoria. Have all the energy of the world, want to tackle everything. And I don't mean just like you feel really good and you have a boost of energy. No, I just mean like you don't sleep.
No, you don't.
And not like you took meth. I mean, you're just like going. Everything is great. You make irrational decisions. You do make poor choices. You spend a bunch of fucking money. You know, do a bunch of shit. Okay. So generally lots of racing thoughts, decreased sleep, very risky behaviors, all of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's mania. It's a good time for the people in it. People with bipolar tend to like not hate mania, right? So understand that. Because it's bi, meaning 2. That's how that works, guys, in case you were wondering. The reverse of that would be depressive episodes. So that is depression symptoms. Okay. So recognizing that. So for bipolar 1, you have mania and a depressive episode. Okay. So recognizing that. And it's depression. It's all the symptoms of depression. Low energy, need to sleep, want a blanket burrito, right? Can't get out of bed, don't like anything. So essentially the exact opposite of mania. Hence the bipolar thing. It's like it's almost in the name.
Shocker.
I know every once in a while the mental health field just nails something accurately in the name.
Right? Weird.
Crazy. It's almost like SAD, seasonal affective disorder. Like, who named it SAD? I'm sorry, it's winter now. Do you feel sad? Spot on, guys. Best marketing tool ever. Right? So here we are. Back to this bipolar, right? That is essentially it. Okay. For that, bipolar 2 is the hypomania that Kelly referred to. It's similar to mania. but lasts for at least 4 days and is not severe enough to cause as much impairment as the mania, right? So mania tends to like impact everything: work, school, social life. You basically be fucking shit up. Where hypomania is like, well, this kind of feels good, but I can still maybe probably go to work. You don't also necessarily have to have a depressive episode for bipolar 2, but you probably usually do. No. Interestingly enough, there are some specifiers that come with bipolar 2, and specifiers are like just some extra fun little things that bipolar can have. Rapid cycling. Anybody want to take a stab at what rapid cycling might mean?
You go from your manic stages or hypomanic stages to your depressive stages very quickly.
Bam. Got it in one. You do it quick. You move instead of just like kind of up and down and things feel okay. You're just like constant, rapidly moving through your cycles, almost again, like it's in the name. And then another common one is mixed features.
That one's fun.
Any guess what that one might mean?
When it's both, and it usually comes with hypo or mania. I've seen it mostly with mania, where the depressive side mixes in with the mania, and it comes across as irritability or rage.
Yep. Now, those are the two most common specifiers. What's another one that you also sometimes see, Kelly?
Psychosis, delusions.
Yeah. And those are the other ones. And I don't think we have to explain that one. That one's pretty much explanatory too. Psychosis, delusions. You guys got that, right? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Glad to know that you guys got it. All right. So that is bipolar 1 and 2. And from here on out, we are just going to say bipolar. So people diagnosed with bipolar, I'm not going to distinguish 1 or 2 because I'm just not. If we're going to talk about hypomania, we will say that. If we're going to talk about mania, we're probably just going to say it. So just know that, because when we're talking about symptomology, they're similar. We're going to talk about treatment. Guess what? Similar. Medication. I want to start with medication though, and then we can go wherever the fuck we want to. Is medication effective for bipolar symptoms?
Can be.
Yeah.
It
was a yes and a can be. Who would like to go first on that one?
Bree, I'm deferring to you, babe.
Fair. I only say yes because I've seen a lot of people in my life who struggle with bipolar. Their lives can dramatically change with the correct medication. That being said, with the wrong medication, I've also seen their lives dramatically change, not for the better. There are lots of medications that can induce mania or hypomania stages, and a lot of medications that just don't do anything because it's not triggering those chemicals in your brain that you're truly lacking when you're bipolar. But yeah, I mean, I only say yes because I've seen it do miracles for a lot of people in my life, and without it, they're just kind of lacking something.
So there's some personal experience, Kelly, and you said
can be,
maybe.
Yes, and I'm gonna agree with Bree on that one. I have seen the medication, like she said, I've seen medication work miracles on individuals with actual bipolar. But I've also seen people be like diagnosed bipolar and given medication for it and not actually need it. And so the problem then becomes the medication's not working because it's not necessarily needed to treat the chemicals in the brain. And so that's my hang up on it. So my answer is very, very similar to Bree's. Can it be effective? Absolutely. Can it be life-changing for people who need it? 100%. Can it be really harmful in the long run? Yes. But I think we could probably argue that point with any psych medication.
Yeah. The views expressed following us are mine and mine alone. They are not reflective of anyone else on this podcast. Just an FYI. I say this because it bothers me that lithium is the gold standard for bipolar.
Thank you.
Lithium is a garbage drug.
Uh,
Amen.
so there are a lot of other medications that can be even more effective for bipolar symptoms. And again, each person is very different in how they respond to medications. And as always, if you are going to take a psych med, I will encourage that you get DNA tested so that
Yes.
you know which medications are going to be best for you so you don't play the spin the psych med wheel and go through 72 different meds to find out which ones work for you. But it bothers me that lithium is the gold standard treatment for bipolar because it's lithium.
It's a heavy metal.
Correct. I'm just going to say that. So we'll just, there we go. But Lamictal is also a good one.
Hmm.
Depakote also works well. Atypical antipsychotics like Latuda. I'm also not a fan of Seroquel.
Abilify.
Vilify is a good one.
Never forget Abilify.
Uh,
Said can never forget Abilify.
can
Amen.
never. Vraylar is another good one. Zyprexa is another good one. Um, so these are all much better options. Again, as I said, these are just the opinions of I. I'm not a fan of Seroquel because I have worked with lots of populations where that has become problematic for a variety of reasons. And lithium, it's fucking lithium. So we're back to that. So there's just other things in there that you could see that if worked, if this applies to you. But again, I am not a prescriber. So please talk to your prescriber. And again, I would suggest that you just take the DNA test to see which ones work best for you instead of just constantly spinning a wheel. Like Bree and Kelly have both indicated, taking the right meds can do wonders. Taking the wrong meds can fuck you up. So keep that in mind. Now we have a couple places to go, ladies. We can talk about how I do want to talk about the misdiagnosing of bipolar.
Oh, thank you.
But do we want to talk about the stigma around bipolar? Do we want to talk about how bipolar functions around that and treatment of it? Or where we want to go?
My suggestion is to talk about misdiagnosing and then bleed into the stigma because I feel like there's a stigma there because of the misdiagnosis.
All right, cool. I'm good. Wherever we go, wherever we go, wherever you go, there you are.
You take you with you wherever you go.
And wherever Bree goes, she's working on a blanket.
I'm working on glass today.
Ooh,
Oh, glass. She's in her blanket, though. She's covered up in her blanket.
I am in my blanket.
what are you making?
A tulip
Aw.
and another like flower thing. I don't know. I've got two projects that I'm foiling right now because I always leave the foiling for a while because it's my least favorite part.
Mm.
That sounds exciting. I say. She makes it sound so exciting. It's her least favorite part, so that probably means it's zero fun.
It is zero fun, but it's fine.
So, all right. So misdiagnosis. Well, Kelly, take us off then, if that's where you want to start.
All right, so case study. 16-year-old kid, high school, bad home life. Happy when they're at school, miserable when they're at home. Rinse, repeat, goes to a psychiatrist. Insurance claims that the insurance needs a claim. So the psychiatrist uses bipolar because of the happy at school, sad at home, the up down, and the kid gets diagnosed with bipolar for that reason, put on Depakote, and the Depakote changes the child's hormone structure. Kid doesn't need it. Kid's not bipolar. Goes off the medication at 18 and balances back out and is able to live a normal life.
It's almost like the child was growing up in an unstable home environment.
Child was being abused by their father.
Shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But diagnosed on the first session.
I mean, unfortunately, I think because of the nature of insurance, it's shitty that we have to, but
Mm-hmm.
it should also be the least harmful,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Um,
And um, there should be enough context given to where bipolar would not be considered the least harmful mother's mom came to, or kid's mom came to me later, and told me that the doctor said the child, she would grow out of it. You don't grow out of bipolar.
It's gonna grow right on out of that.
Hmm.
Just grow right on out of some bipolar. It's fine.
So the
It's just
doctor,
Horrible
it's
it's
a
daddies.
it's just like a growing pain.
Right?
just a smidge of some bipolar. You can grow right on out of that.
So it suggests that the doctor knew that the child didn't have bipolar, but was like filing. It's almost like insurance fraud. I'm gonna like up this diagnosis.
Gonna grow right on out of that. Like his pants when he becomes 18. He'll grow right out of these sides.
You know?
What the fuck is that?
Yep.
I think I mean that's a great like example because that is one of the common places where people get misdiagnosed is where there's abuse and trauma.
Hmm.
And I think for me, the most common place I saw it was when I worked inpatient.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so picture this working in a substance use inpatient facility where people were going to their doctors or prescribers or whomever because they were having mood swings.
Hmm.
Some days they were feeling really motherfucking great, living their best lives. And then other days they were feeling like absolutely dog shit and they hated everybody and their mom. And so they were diagnosed with bipolar
Hmm.
because they didn't tell anybody they were using illegal fucking substances. Because why the fuck would they? And nobody asked.
Oh, wait, but isn't there a clause in the DSM where we assess for that though?
Okay, I'm sorry, but are you using drugs? No,
Right, exactly.
no,
So,
I'm not. I don't. Because like
Drug.
right now I'm not. I'm detoxing, bitch. That's why I'm miserable. Bitch, give me some drugs. Anyways, the point is that that is the place that I have seen the most amount of people come in with a bipolar
mhm,
diagnosis that do not meet it, have never met it.
sure.
Of course, they have personality ups and swings. Of course, like
Yes.
differences and mood swings. It's almost like they feel great when they're high and miserable when they're not.
And we're supposed to wait a specific amount of time before they balance out.
Correct. And that to me is so common
Oh,
of
yeah.
like, hey, well, like I was been diagnosed with I'm bipolar. And I'm like, yeah, when? Oh, like 4 weeks ago. You mean when you were high? Yeah, no, that doesn't count. Never mind.
Oh, no.
That is so common. It's appalling. And I know a piece of it is on the person who's doing the diagnosing. And I also understand that a part of it is because the population themselves are not going to out themselves. Unless there's trust there, they're not going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm using. And I do grasp that. So it is a bit of both here, but it is the most over like misdiagnosed population probably because of the nature of how substances impact personality and mood. So they get diagnosed with a lot of fucking shit that has nothing to do with anything except for, people are getting high. That shit impacts their life, no matter, regardless of what substance it is, whether it's alcohol to cocaine,
Hmm.
LSD to heroin. It doesn't matter. It all
Yep.
impacts personality and mood. So
No,
that
that's
is one of
true.
the biggest places.
That's true.
I just,
Another thing that I saw that, and I agree with you because I worked in inpatient too, and that was like making it, just handed out like candy, making it rain. But also, and very similar too, would be borderline because they mimic each other very, very like peanut butter and
yeah,
jelly. And I would see people come in who had borderline, and it's not to say you can't have both, but I would see people who would come in who met more criteria for borderline than they did bipolar, be diagnosed with bipolar and not be affected by the medication and weren't getting better, but would get better with therapy.
yeah, I agree. Bree, where's the place that you've seen people be misdiagnosed?
I'd probably say inpatient as well, but not just limiting it to substance abuse inpatient, also just like general inpatient. I mean, a lot of people come in with severe trauma that's also not really explained in a way that if there's no trust there, I'm not going to tell you my deepest, darkest secrets and the worst shit that's ever happened to me. I'm going to keep that a secret for a little bit. But unprocessed trauma can lead to a lot of different things coming up. And I think that's another situation in which we see medication not really working and unable to understand why, because on paper it looks like this person is just struggling with bipolar, when in reality there's something so much deeper there. And then they're thrown into an inpatient facility where all really an inpatient facility is good for is stabilizing your medications. If you want real therapy, like, not that they're not real therapists, but they don't have the time frame to do real therapy. You're in there for 3 to 5 days, so what are you going to accomplish in 3 to 5 days other than medication stabilization? So yeah, I would just say an inpatient in general, uh, just due to that being some reason their favorite diagnosis to give.
No, that's a good point. You're right. Like
It's easy.
trauma shows up with my mood swings, right? Especially if I'm triggered and unprocessed and I am feeling prickly and I'm feeling hypervigilant. All of that can show up bipolar too, because then tomorrow I have a good day. So
Mhm.
for sure. So yeah, I think these are really good places of recognizing that a lot of things can look like bipolar, and this is why it's important not to get stuck on TikTok and go,
Mm.
"Ooh, look, this is me," because lots of things look like lots of things, and even sometimes trained professionals fuck that shit up.
Hmm.
So, that's not to say that it's all doom and gloom here, but it's also recognizing that, like, it takes trust and honesty and the whole picture here, right? Of being able to look at like the whole piece. So it takes all of it to get an accurate diagnosis. If I don't have all of your history, misdiagnosis can happen, and these things occur, unfortunately. So also, if you fall down the Reddit rabbit hole, you will find yourself diagnosed with everything. So don't do that. I swear, in every one of these episodes I'm going to say that. um but these are some really good examples of how misdiagnosis happens. So if you are considering reaching out to do therapy for a diagnosis, really the core piece is make sure you're honest with your therapist,
Yes.
because as scary as that is how an accurate diagnosis and an accurate plan for treatment can move forward and how you can get better. That's the key.
And don't
And
fall
then
down that. Sorry.
nope, go ahead.
Don't fall down that rabbit or the Reddit rabbit hole because that will absolutely ruin your tour.
It always ruins the tour. Always ruins the tour. You will bypass your whole fucking tour and have been on an adventure you didn't sign up for.
Yep.
All right, so let's this leads us right into the stigma of bipolar, and I'm going to start with my favorite, which is like, oh my god, she's so like bipolar. You're not like anything. You're like, it's not a person. It's not like a totally who you are. It's a diagnosis. So it's a piece of a person. You are not your diagnosis. And I think that's important. So when people say like, oh my God, they're like so bipolar, it's very dismissive of the diagnosis and the things that come with it. And also, again, we're back to you marry an entire diagnosis to who a person is, when really you're just saying someone is like, I don't know, they change their mind a lot. It's usually that's what you're saying
Mhm.
when you say things like, so bipolar, or they have mood swings, which I promise you can say that too. There are other words to use instead of using mental health diagnoses in this way. So that's my initial stab in this. What you got, ladies?
Yeah, I would say similar to kind of what you're saying, the indecisiveness is usually seen as like a bipolar thing. I think a lot of people are getting a little bit more knowledgeable about what bipolar really is, um, but still kind of struggle to identify it as anything other than someone being crazy, because that's sometimes what it feels like on the outside is someone's just being a little crazy and they're really just going through something that there's literally no way that they can control it. The chemicals in their brain are lacking, and therefore they are unable to make the same decisions as someone who has all those chemicals and has the right levels and is able to function in a way that is not as detrimental. Uh, but yeah, I would say like just the idea of throwing around crazy is it's really, I don't know, really bothersome, I suppose.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take. What about people using the stigma as a way to, what's the word I'm looking for? Deflect against their own problem?
It's just my bipolar.
Mm-hmm. Or I don't want to talk about it because it's just way too much for me right now. It's just so much. It's too much. I don't want people to know. And then they go on and let people know, kind of thing. It's
I
just
mean, there's some, because sometimes that's facts.
sometimes it is, yes. But I think the best way that I know how to describe what I am trying to explain is I'm weaponizing the stigma of it. If people know, then they'll think lesser of me, even though I'm wearing it like a meat suit. Like I'm using it, but I don't want to. You know, it's like I'm going online and being a social media warrior for it, kind of. I'm putting it out there that I had this thing, but I don't want to talk to people actively who are going to help me about it.
Yeah, it's basically you're using it as a shield.
Yes.
I have bipolar, so don't talk to me about bipolar.
Mm-hmm. Don't talk to me about what I did, but I'm going to use it and I'm going to talk about it to gain likes and stuff on media. But don't hold me accountable for my actions while I did it.
Well, you want my honest answer?
Sure.
Yeah, that is never going to work for me.
Mm-mm.
Um, but this is my honest answer is I don't deal well with bullshit and I call it for what it is. And at the end of the day, if that's how you want to do, then do you, boo boo. But you're never going to get anywhere.
No, and that's how I feel about it too, but it perpetuates some kind
It
of
does.
like, you know,
I think it's part of like recognizing that's what's happening, right? If someone's not ready to address their shit, you also can't make them.
no,
And that's real.
100%.
Uh, so there becomes a sketch like of like, okay, but you're also not helping. And this, I think, is where positive peer pressure plays a role. Would you like me to elaborate?
Always.
I think this is where the only people who could actually affect difference there are other people who also have been diagnosed with bipolar. Because
Mm,
this is like, fuck you, bitch, you can't use this like that. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
You cannot use it in this way. Why? Because you're damaging all of us.
So it's kind of like AA,
Yeah.
NA, all of that stuff.
One of us, one of us.
GABA, GABA, we accept you, accept you, one of us. Yay, I got to use GABA again.
It's being able to recognize, okay, yeah, there is communities within communities, right?
Yes.
Right? There's the general mental health community, but there are slices within it, right? I have this diagnosis and I have this diagnosis and I have these 17 diagnoses. I'm kidding. Nobody has that many. Um, Nobody has that many. I don't care what your OCD said. You do not have that many. Um, but like where your overlap of being able to say, like, listen, like when you do these things, you're negatively impacting all of us. And there is something to be said for, like I said, positive peer pressure.
Hmm.
So
I think,
accountability in that way.
and that's kind of why I mentioned it, is because when we talk about stigma, I think we also kind of have um, a segue into its opposite. And I don't know what the opposite of stigma, well, we everybody may have a different name for it, but because we have a stigma, we have something different. You know, we have a positive as
Unstigma,
unstigmatized. Um,
destigmatized,
what?
destigmatized.
Destigmatized. Um, to kind of combat it. And, you know, that kind of falls into it. It's like we find a way to combat these things
Um, yeah,
naturally, I think.
true. No, I think that's correct. I think I mean, there are people I think who would be like, look, you can't do that. Like, don't do that. Like you're harming more than just you
Hmm.
type of thing. And that ends up in that kind of way. Especially if you're going to be in the social media sphere, that's not going to last long before someone will say something. So I love how much she just concentrates so hard.
Trying to
Like, if I whisper, does it feel like you guys are watching golf?
trying to unpeel the tape from the backing is the bane of my existence. I have nails and I still can't do it. It's like it just doesn't want to come undone. And I
Right
just
now, she
understand.
steps up to the back. She tries to peel it.
What is
It
it?
fights
What is
back.
it?
It
What does it
fights
look
back.
like?
The crowd,
It's
they
just like
hush themselves.
it's just tape.
It's so
But
tiny.
you gotta undo the tape from the backing and it just never really wants to work for me. So
It just never wants to untape.
it never wants to untape. I got it.
Yay!
Woo! And the crowd goes wild.
Golf clap.
Oh, fuck. All right. I think really as we're recognizing, like for every mental health disorder we talk about, there is some level of stigma, unfortunately, and just really recognizing it, whether you have the diagnosis or you know somebody with a diagnosis, or you're just like listening to us because we're ridiculous. Um, and you're really trying to catch on to what Bree is making because that's the highlight of why you listen to us. Whatever, why ever you show up. Um, one of these days, maybe we'll get her to do her own podcast. So this is why she's making the things, why she just narrates to you why she's making things.
Right?
It could be quite entertaining. I'm struggling with the fucking tape.
That'd be half the episode.
That's half the episode. I'll be back tomorrow. Fuck this. Anyways, I digress per usual. Is that recognizing the stigma hurts people. And so
Yes.
when you use these things, this is about people and how they're functioning in their lives. And it's not just some, oh my God, she's like totally just like bipolar. And that is very rude. It's dismissive. And it can really be hurtful and harmful because as much as we were told sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me, that's a crock of bullshit. Words hurt.
Yeah, they do.
And sometimes they hurt worse than sticks and stones.
There are studies to back that up too, actually.
So let's recognize that understanding that the words you say matter. And you can also be a part of changing how people view mental health, whether you struggle with any of these things or not. Thank you for coming to my impromptu TED Talk. All right. Do we want to discuss treatment for this?
Yes, please.
All right. What do we got? Anybody know? Anybody? We already talked about medication. What else we got? Anybody?
Therapy.
Therapy. Bree comes in with the therapy. Do the therapy. She's
Do it.
correct. Do
Yes.
it now.
Yes.
Do it. Do it. Sorry, now that song is stuck in my head. Yeah. Anyways,
Stay away from the chat GPT when you're manic.
stay away from ChatGPT just in general.
True.
But therapy. Any specific kinds of therapy people should be reaching for?
I personally would suggest some CBT, DBT for skills, uh, existential if you're having some crises going on while you're in there. I found that that's helped with some people during their depressive states.
Can we do the empty chair?
Yeah, love empty chair.
And if you don't know what the empty chair is, look it up. It's a great time.
It really is. Thank you for reminding me about that. I haven't done that in a while. Now I'm going to do that tomorrow.
The empty chair is such a great time. Nothing like having somebody yell at an empty chair.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you need like something for family, I would maybe consider some family focused therapy, just because sometimes education for family is important. But CBT is the best, obviously. DBT also throws in there. Any other effective treatments that we know that might be slightly outside the normal therapy scope?
Thinking of all the stuff that I've used. Narrative.
Okay. TMS.
Yes.
TMS works. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it's transcranial magnetic stimulation. It works for severe depression. So that
Ketamine.
could work for the bipolar piece, the depression there. ECT is also electroconvulsive therapy. So that works with sometimes medication resistant symptoms.
And
And as we're talking about severe depression, ketamine therapy. And it's ketamine therapy, people. Ketamine therapy with a therapist. Don't go do drugs because you heard it on this podcast. Ketamine therapy.
no special K for y'all, babes. Um,
Keep
stay,
that in mind. I'm on to
stay,
you.
stay on the
I'm on to
planet
you.
unless you invite me. Just kidding. Um,
Also, I need to have a word with Alex. She told me to go take mushrooms to help with my memory fog, and not one of them is a fun kind.
rude.
That's what I said.
She told me the same thing, and none of them were the fun kind.
None of them were the fun kind. Three different
Alex,
kinds of mushrooms and none of them the fun kind. What kind of friend is she?
she can expect a group chat tomorrow.
You can expect that stern talking to.
But I want to back up for a second to the ECT, um, because people get really, really, really nervous about that. And I have dug and dug and dug and dug into the research, and I want to digress for a second. ECT has evolved immensely from the time where, doctors were just kind of like practicing electrocuting people just for funsies. They now are able to localize specific points in the brain and then just tap into those. It has an 80 plus success rate, an 80 plus, the efficacy of this treatment is 80% plus on a statistical average. That is amazing. It is amazing for bipolar specifically. I haven't looked at the research in a couple of years, but if you are struggling primarily with bipolar 1, and it's something that look into, talk to your doctor about. It's not what it used to be. Your brain is not going to be fried into, Jack Nicholson in One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest. It's not a lobotomy. It's not anything like that. It is controlled. It is localized. You're not going to lose yourself. It is a viable treatment. It's a viable option. And I stand behind it 100% because what it used to be and mental health care as opposed to what it was has evolved ethically, humanistically into something that really truly does work. And that was my TED Talk.
Perfect. And I agree because I wouldn't have said it if I also didn't agree that it was ethically sound. I would have skipped it. This is not like electroshock therapy. It's not
Mhm.
any of those things. This is very specific, science-based, very
Mhm.
researched. And as Kelly said, the research is sound. There are other things outside of therapy, though, real quick. Um, a consistent routine helps sleep, diet,
Yes.
exercise. And that's like a strict sleep schedule, guys. Like go to bed at
Oh,
the same
yeah.
time, get up at the same time. Exercise schedule, all of these things. You want stability. If you struggle with bipolar symptoms, you want a rigid schedule. And I don't mean like it has to be rigid, but you want structure.
Hmm.
You want consistency. Okay. You want these things. These are very important. Okay. All of these things are very important. Just recognizing those things. So also you can do things like monitoring your mood with a mood chart, daily mood, like there are apps for that, mood tracking, all those good fun things. And I don't generally purport avoid it, but in this case, I'm going to make an exception. Avoid the alcohol and the drug use because they make your mood swings better. They make them worse. Okay. Drinking or using drugs makes those swings so much bigger. Okay. And that's the important part is to know. And I feel like Bree is having some technical difficulties. So just, she keeps popping in and out. So that's just what's happening right now. Just so everybody knows. Poor Bree. Hey, there she is.
Welcome
Can you
back.
hear me?
We can.
That was weird. It told me to close all of my something happened and I had to close all my windows or browser tabs and then reopen it. So now there's two of me. I don't know if you guys can see the other me, but oh, she's gone. Never mind.
I just removed the other you. I said bye.
Okay.
I said bye to the other you.
I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Tech, it's great. It's all
Right?
great and
So much
wonderful
fun.
till we need it to work.
Amen.
So, but yeah, no, those are the only things I'd ever say to avoid alcohol and drug use. Those will make your mood swings worse. Ta-da! So, on that fun note, that's treatment for bipolar disorder in a nutshell. The one thing I do want to hit on before we wrap this up is the depression and the lows and the suicidal thoughts. Because I do think that's important to touch on because it is a big piece of it. Please know that you are not alone. That is a part of it, especially when those depression symptoms are very, very strong and you feel very low. So if you are working with a prescriber, please make sure you have a safety plan. Please reach out to your support people. Please do not keep that information silent, be quiet, even when it's bad. The people in your life would much rather you be here than not. And even though the thoughts in your head say something different, I promise that's not how anyone else feels. But also recognizing that these thoughts, these feelings are a part of it is very real. And to know that there are lots of people who feel this way too, so that you know that you are not alone. Okay. And this is why, we discuss why the stigma for this disorder isn't something you should be engaging in, but also why treatment for this disorder is important so that you don't have to have big swings and the swings become more manageable, even if they are just minor ones and you're just going like a small teeter-totter and not a giant big up and down. And that feels much more manageable than big extremes, because that's what is a more normal life thing. And I feel like Bree might have just got kicked out again.
I'm still
looks
here.
like it.
She's still here. We still got her. Okay. Whew. Phew. It's getting real.
I know, right?
So, anything you guys want to add either on the suicidal topic or anything else you guys don't think I added or we should cover before that, in that words are hard.
I do actually. An interesting little aside. I have been researching something called grief-induced mania because that has come up in a couple of clients and people I know. That is a thing, apparently, a well-documented thing that I found on PubMed. So anybody that may be struggling with bipolar, if you are going through grief, just be aware that that is something that could possibly, induce some mania because grief is hard. And it seems counterintuitive, but it could send you into mania. It could cause some manic or hypomanic symptoms. It's very interesting, but well documented.
Hmm, interesting.
I know.
That is counterintuitive because I would have just assumed
Yeah.
depression.
Yeah, no. It's very interesting.
And instead, the brain goes, fuck that, let's enjoy life.
Yeah,
We
denial.
don't want this bullshit.
It's the denial part of the grief, it
Yeah.
seems like.
Yeah, fuck this, we don't want this shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Bree, any thoughts? Anything you want to add?
I'd say similar, make sure if you're experiencing any suicidal thoughts or really just low depressive episodes that you're talking to people about that. I know a lot of people fear being placed into a psychiatric hospital, and that's not always the outcome when you express your thoughts and express what's going on. And sometimes when it is, it can be very helpful. It can be very beneficial for those few days. And a few days of discomfort can be worth a lot more days of getting to live a happy life. And as well as many people know, I do have my qualms with medication, but medication doesn't always mean that you're broken. Sometimes it just means that you need a little extra help to get by, and taking it doesn't make you a defective person. I think that a lot of people with bipolar struggle with that and kind of having to deal with the idea that they're going to have this disorder for the rest of their lives. But as much as maybe you're going to have this disorder for the rest of your lives, it doesn't mean that the life has to be as chaotic and difficult as it is when you're unmedicated or untherapized, therapized.
Therapized. Let's go with that. You're not therapized.
Therapyized.
Therapized.
Therapyized.
Had the therapist
I'm looking at you with my therapy eyes.
Whatever the word is, getting help can be really, really, really life-changing. And if you are taking medication that's not working for you, say that shit. Tell your doctor, this is not working for me and this is why. And if your doctor doesn't listen, find a new doctor.
Amen. That right there.
Amen on that. 100% for sure. And I think that's actually a great place to end that. So, per usual, ladies, I enjoy the conversation and I appreciate you being here. As for you guys,
always
hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you made to learn something, or if you didn't, if you already knew about this and this episode spoke to you, I hope you felt supported and that kind of stuff. If you didn't and you think we're wackadoos, let us know. But give us a like, follow, share, send it to a friend, a loved one, an MSI. Who knows? Somebody you're like, psst, 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 psst. Hey, you might need to listen to this. Hey, keep them guessing. Spicy. It's we'll keep life interesting. But regardless, we appreciate you hanging out. And as always, ladies, thanks for being here.
Always.
Thanks for having us.
Amen.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Unwinding with Support Group. Follow us on Substack. Give us a like, a follow. Give us a comment. Tell us what you hated, what you like, what you want us to talk about next. Let everybody know where they can find us too. But thanks for hanging out with us once again.